Hello friends, welcome to Salo Mason Happy Home. And we here at the Salo Mason Happy Home love all things paranormal and a good conspiracy theory. In fact, we even made up a couple conspiracies ourselves. So today I'm going to talk to you about a conspiracy that I, made up myself over the weekend. But before that, I want to talk to you about two things paranormal. I want to talk to you about USOs, which are unidentified submerged objects, alien ships going in and out of the ocean. And I also want to talk to you about something called feral people. Now, in the eastern part of Tennessee, the Great Smoky Mountains, which is part of the Appalachian Mountains, there have been, centuries and centuries of accounts, witness accounts and experiences that people have had with some phenomenon they call feral people. Now, feral people, when they describe them, sounds just like Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I know it's backwards. They say they stink really bad. They're very large and strong. They communicate by knocks and clicks. But they're naked. I mean, who can run around the forest naked? I mean, really. How would you survive all those snake bites and wolf attacks and, getting twigs in the crotch? Ugh, yeah, not very cool. If you were human, of course, you would probably die right away of exposure, But they say they are bipedal and they are vicious and eating, taking down deer and ripping them open and eating them just like that, and that they're just really nasty and they scare people. They're very scary. Well, I have a theory about this. What we know about human evolution and what humans can and can't do, it would be difficult, if not impossible, for humans to just go from living in the 20th and 21st centuries of the lives that we live with our biological functions as they are, to just walk off the grid, strip your clothes down, and start taking down deer. For one thing, we aren't fast enough to do that anymore. Number two, you would have to have really powerful hands and teeth, and we really don't have that ability. Number three, all of the diseases and different elements, like exposure to the weather and stuff, would kill you well before you would become totally feral. So I believe that what these witnesses are experiencing is maybe a hairless variety of Sasquatch, or a Sasquatch with mange. It's making them crazy. Or maybe it is a twist in the evolutionary chain from Sasquatch to human, or human to Squatch, because I think that Squatch is probably a missing link of some sort. I mean, think about it. We used to be bipedal humans that ate ungodly things and killed each other for irrational reasons, and we had all kinds of hair on our bodies until we started wearing clothing, and then, the biology of the human body said, no, we don't need all this hair because you're wearing clothes, so screw you, we're not making all this hair anymore. Okay, so there's that. But I just think it's a link in the evolutionary chain connected to Bigfoot, or it's a hairless variety. There are hairless guinea pigs. I have two. There are hairless cats, Abyssinians, and another breed of some sort there, those really scary looking ones. Chinese crested dogs. Many, many, many species of mammal have hairless varieties. So why couldn't Squatch? Food for thought, people. Food for thought. But I also want to put out a very serious disclaimer here. When you are investigating, or you think you're an investigator and you're going out and doing all this paranormal stuff, no matter how much equipment or team you have or money you have to throw at it, remember, you are going into the homes and the territories of individuals, specifically out in the Appalachian Mountains and the Smoky Mountains. These are isolated communities where these people have lived among each other for centuries and centuries and generations and generations. They believe what they have seen. They could be very scared. But when you go to any place for an investigation, you are going into their house, into their territory. You need to be respectful. Do not joke or disparage. And don't take advantage of them because they don't live in a big city or an urban area like you do. And if you think about it, how many paranormal investigations that take place in apartment complexes or the big city? Think about it. Now, I've done investigations in apartment complexes and condos and whatnot, because not, every haunting is related to some old house somewhere out, in the middle of nowhere. Anything can be haunted. And if you listen to my other channel, One Foot In, I'll explain it to you. Okay. So yeah, maybe what they're seeing isn't a feral person. And because the reason they believe it's feral people is because so many people have gone hiking out into those woods and never returned. But I think the answer to that would be that those mountain regions contain numbers of wild boar. And wild boar are incredibly dangerous, lethal. They will seek out humans. They will not only seek you out, attack you, but they will eat you, clothing, bones, and all. So if people go out into the woods and they never return and there are no signs of them, odds are they were eaten by a wild boar. Look up wild boars, particularly the wild boars from Canada that are making their way into the beautiful state of Minnesota, which is where we are. And they'll let you know. They're like little tanks on wheels. Little tanks on hoofs, excuse me. So that would explain missing hikers. And as far as the feral people, well, we have no proof to the contrary. However, I believe that there is an explanation for this, and I believe that it is nothing more than a hairless variety of Squatch. And if you think about it, they're described in the same manner as Squatch. Horrendous odor, foul odor, large, communicating with clicks and knocks, and mean. They're also very elusive. The characteristics are all the same. The things that we believe we know about Squatch are the same as the feral people. So it might be something to look at there, All of you people that are out there with your cryptid stuff, cryptid. Why don't you take a look at that? The other thing I want to talk to you about is USOs, unidentified submerged objects. We recently watched a documentary on USOs, and they really touched on a lot of the experiences of military pilots and military, boat people, the people on the ships, sailors. And they talked about their experiences. Now, if you're a military personnel, I'm going to probably believe you above and beyond anybody else. For one thing, because you'll probably be, gunned down or court-martialed or whatever if you lie. And Also, everything is recorded, so it's indisputable that you're seeing some weird thing. You know, it started back in 2004 with the Tic Tac video, and these are phenomenon, ET phenomenon, or alien spaceship phenomenon that are occurring over bodies of water. I used to live on Lake Michigan for a number of years, as in the backyard was the sand from the beach going out to the water. That's how on Lake Michigan I lived. And if you've had to drive through a snowstorm, you haven't driven through a snowstorm until you have driven through snowflakes the size of coffee cup saucers. Oh, yeah, the lake effect snow. Great, now I'm going to need a pill or a therapist or something. I don't even remember that. Anyway, off topic. But so all of these alleged experts about USOs, or people that have their theories about USOs, man, my hair does some weird ass shit, doesn't it? Anyway, it's what happens when you have very fine, thin hair. It's not thin like thinning. I mean, I've had it looked at and tested by doctors and stylists, and I have a full head of hair. However, it is a fine hair, but it also has some wave and curl, because my mom was Irish, and when I was born and when I was up to about 2 years old, 3 years old, my family said I had strawberry blonde, super curly hair. Okay, off topic again. All of the experts about the USOs insist that the reason they have them there is that there's some underwater compound, laboratory, hiding place, a city under the sea for ETs. I don't buy that. And here's why. There are many other reasons why ETs might be going into the water. Along with that, there are what percent, a huge percentage of the ocean that we haven't been able to research and go into because it's too friggin' deep. And it's not how deep it is, it's the weight of the water. The deeper you go, the heavier the water. With glacier melting, that's adding to that water. And we may never, as a species, be able to ever get down to the bottom of, let's say, the Mariana Trench. Those trenches and stuff that they have there, because physically and biologically, the water would crush us. And you can't change that. You can't avoid it. I mean, we would really have to find some kind of alien way of doing that, you know, technology. Maybe not in our lifetime, but hopefully, you know, maybe in somebody's lifetime. Maybe. So with USOs, and they're saying, well, you know, yeah, there are cities under the sea. They have hiding places and compound. Of course they do, because of all of this part of the ocean that we haven't explored yet. So that's proof, because we can't get down there. So that's proof that they're there. Well, that's bullshit. It's bullshit because think about all of these investigations and all of these sightings. They're at places like off of beaches, cliffs overlooking Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, the ocean, Catalina Island. Been a lot out of there. These sightings and experiences are occurring in areas that we, in fact, not only have explored and researched, but that we can make it all the way down to the bottom, from the surface of the water down to the bottom, the sandy bottom of the ocean. And we have been there. And in exploring that, because we go to shipwrecks all the time, and we've explored that. And if there were caves or compounds or any kind of thing like that, I think we would have found it by now. And if there is some kind of city under the sea for the aliens, and they're going back and forth, why would they show up over Catalina Island and then go all the way off to some trench somewhere 9,000 miles below the surface of the sea where we can't get to them? You know, practicality would say, common sense would say, if they wanted to go home, they'd go home. They wouldn't go, you know, to one end of the earth and, you know, to go all the way back. It's silly. Because humans have traversed every inch of the sea with regard to, you know, I mean, all the way out to the Antarctic. Look at the Titanic. If they weren't out in that deep Antarctic water, I mean, lost ships and all those stories and stuff. So I think there would have been some evidence. And the places that they have been seen, for example, Catalina Island, humans not only have been down there, but they have studied that area. There's doesn't appear to be any caves or any hiding places. That's another thing. What my theory is about the USOs and the reason they go into the water is maybe they're coming in hot. When a meteor or a falling star goes from space to our atmosphere, they catch fire. They're coming in hot and fast. Well, the same thing may be said for ETs. They're coming from a universe we know nothing about. Maybe they're coming in hot and fast. And maybe they're heating up. And maybe they dive into the water, not because they have a city under the sea and they're going to visit grandma and have Sunday dinner. Maybe it's because they're cooling off their engines, cooling off their ships. Maybe they need salt water as part of their fuel system. Or maybe it's something they consume. Maybe they're studying it. Maybe they're going into the water because they are researching and abducting ocean creatures, just like they do with cattle that they mutilate on land. Maybe they're doing fish mutilations. Whales, Would explain why orcas are so mad all the time. Get that probe out of my ass, you motherfucker. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. Maybe it's for research. Maybe they're just going in there to hide from you. Or like us, because what do? We poop and pee in or over water. Maybe our oceans are ET's toilets. So you see, my point is two very popular, very well-known, very well-accepted beliefs in paranormal phenomenon, such as feral men of the Appalachian Mountains, or undersea unidentified submerged objects. There are other theories out there. There are other things that this could be not what we think. So I think it's important that when you are like us here at the Salo Mason Happy Home, where we love the paranormal, we live and breathe all things paranormal, and we enjoy our paranormal, we have to keep an open mind and a calm and rational mind as well. Because you don't know until these things are proven. It's just like religion. We really don't know what's going to happen to each of us individually when we die. We won't know till we die. But we can, we can guess. We can have faith. We can believe. Does it make it true? No. But it makes it true for the people that believe. Okay. But, just keep in mind that when you're watching all of these shows and documentaries about paranormal investigations, most of the people don't have as many years experience as I do, because I'm 62 and I have been, my family has witnessed and documented my interactions with the dead and with ET since I was 4, so that's 58 years. And I have been a professional investigator and paranormal consultant since 1989. So 99, 2009, 2019, more than 30 years, 36 years, 35, 36 years. Yeah. So I got a lot of experience under my belt and living that life. But I take a lot of pride in knowing that I can step back and not just absolutely believe everything that I see or hear, because I know that the world is ever changing. But I would never disrespect or disparage anybody that is having a paranormal event or has been a witness to something, a phenomenon that cannot be explained. The investigators, oh yeah, I'll give you all kinds of shit, because a lot of you are morons. And just because you have psychic abilities doesn't mean you're an investigator. And just because you're an investigator, these guys don't have psychic abilities. It's a whole two separate different worlds. And there's a pattern to these shows. Always keep in mind there's a pattern. It's full of scripted jump scares. They never get definitive proof of anything. It's always, just, it's what you want to believe. Okay. But when it comes to the feral people and the USOs, my shirt's so baggy and stretchy. I gotta try different laundry stuff. When it comes to these two particular phenomenon, step back and realize that there could be something else going on that you don't know about. It could be a hairless variety of Squatch. It could be Squatch evolution. Maybe they are evolving from fully furred bipedals to now hairless. Who knows? Don't approach them. And don't go out in the woods by yourself or unarmed. But let me tell you, it's going to take a lot of bullets or a lot of knife thrusts to fend off a wild boar. Best thing to do, stay the hell out of the woods and let the woods be the woods without you there. And now, I want to round this conversation off with a conspiracy theory. I've noticed we've had those tragic wildfires in Los Angeles. They're still ablazing as of today, Monday, January 13, 2025. Still ablazing. Fucking DEI. Off topic. Anyway, when the hurricanes over the fall hit the Carolinas and Florida, nobody could get information in or out. And in swoops Elon Musk's Starlink to hook the world up so that people could get that internet service they needed, get their phones up and running, so they could get the information and the help and services that they required. And now, this is not the first time that Starlink has jumped in to help. But now we have these wildfires, and we just heard last week that Starlink, once again, is going to jump in and set up and provide internet service for those in need who are suffering from the wildfires. So my conspiracy theory is this. What if Starlink is starting the fires? What if Starlink's satellites are instigating hurricanes? What if Starlink is behind the climate crisis? What if they're setting all of this up? They've got cloud seeding, right? Maybe they're behind it. Now, I don't want to disparage, and I don't want to diss Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. He is a brilliant man. A little weird, but brilliant. And his cars suck ass, though. I will tell you. I think they're the ugliest damn things that ever graced an American road. I would avoid at all costs to buy one or drive one. For one thing, you can't trust the fuckers. They blow up and catch fire. Just a couple of weeks ago, a poor man, his autonomous car trapped him inside doing donuts out in an airport parking lot. The poor man had to call somebody for help. You can't trust them. They're not there yet. And they're ugly as shit. I'll take my gas-powered luxury vehicle over that. Because I like accommodation, I like cushy seats. I like comfortable, safe vehicles. And you're not going to get that with them. They're nasty. They're like Pepsi cans. I don't like them. No offense to you, Mr. Musk, because I love you. I love the work that you're doing. I'm glad that you're here and you're doing so much for the world. And taking on where Tesla left off, because Tesla got a bad rap. because his inventions were stolen by Thomas Edison, motherfucker. So it's not about Elon Musk. It's about starting a conspiracy theory. And Elon Musk might not even know what Starlink is up to, because he's got his feet in a lot of places. You know, what's he doing with those rockets? They just keep going up and coming down and going up and coming down. And now he can parallel park those suckers so that nobody can get to them. They're not going to fall in the ocean where a Navy ship can grab one and scoop it up and reverse engineer it. You know, think about it. Maybe Starlink is behind all of these disasters, because Starlink is satellite cell service, satellite internet. It's a little different than a cell tower in your neighborhood. Maybe they're behind all these disasters. Maybe they have a hidden agenda to get everybody on board. And once they get you on board, they're going to start sending electrical signals through your phone and through your computer to tell you what to do. To say, buy Starlink service. Go satellite. Yeah, think about it. Think about it. And until next time, do good and be good.